It is getting recorded. Okay, so last time uh, we were discussing about calculating the reverberation time. Okay, so reverberation time, we need to calculate for the dimensions of the auditorium has been given. Okay, and some constraints regarding with the surface, what kind of surface we are having. Okay, what is the dimension and with absorption coefficient. So by using these data, okay, you have to calculate the reverberation time. Okay, so previously what we have said is what things we require to calculate the reverberation time. Okay, what are the things that we require for the calculation of reverberation time? Because uh, the reverberation time is given as yes RT 60. Okay, it is 55.3 multiplied by V upon C into A. Okay, so here the V is the volume of the room. Okay, whether it is auditorium or whether it is a studio, right? And C is the speed of sound. Okay, that is 344 meters per second. Okay, and A is total absorption. Okay, where A is nothing but the multiplication of what, alpha into S. Okay, so what is the S? Okay, S is various types of surfaces. For example, in an enclosed room you should be considering the floors. Okay, the floor, ceiling and walls. Okay, these are the surfaces. And the alpha is respective absorption coefficient. Okay, because the floor is covered with some other thing, the ceiling is covered with some other thing, the walls are having either curtains or windows and so on. So corresponding absorption coefficient you need to consider along with the multiplication of the surface, that particular surface, and the cumulative effect, the summation, is your A, right? So we need to use this formula to calculate the reverberation time. Okay, let me write it down again. Okay, okay. So now in this problem, what you need to do is first of all you should calculate this one, because this is important, and for this calculation only this table has been given to you. Am I right? We, I know the multiplication. Okay, 15 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 8. Okay, so it goes up to 15 8s are 120, this much meter cube. That is quite easy. But calculation of total absorption. Okay, so just try to concentrate here, and we will see how these parameters are calculated. Okay, so calculation of total absorption. Okay, so I hope you are getting a clear picture of this display. Okay. So now for see, in the table it has been given that the thin first surface is thin carpet. Okay, so what are the dimensions? Hmm? The dimensions are 8 meter multiplied by 10 meters. Okay, the count number, only one was there, and this is the absorption coefficient. Okay, so you need to multiply these factors. Okay, which are those factors? The first one is the count, means the total number, with the dimension and with the absorption coefficient. Am I right? So here this 10 multiplied by 8, okay, multiplied by 0.25, means half of this one, 80 is 20. 1/4 of 80 is 20. Okay, So same is the case for windows. Now see, look here, the dimensions of windows. Okay, the dimension is 1.5 meter multiplied by 1 meter. Okay, so this is the dimension. And what was the count? 6. Okay, and absorption coefficient was only 1. Okay, so 1.5 multiplied by 6 is 9. Okay, then thick carpet was there, having the dimension 5 meter cross 5 meter. Only one quantity was there and absorption coefficient was 0.58, so that gives me 14.5. Okay, now the curtains. Okay, so the dimensions 3 meter cross 1 meter, and how what is the count? 6, right? And absorption coefficient was 0.15, so the multiplication gives me 2.7. And finally you need to consider the audience also. Am I right? So in audience 300 count has been given and absorption coefficient was 0.84, so that gives me 252. So this is the what we can say, various absorptions. Okay, so now here I need to calculate the total absorption. Okay, so the summation gives me 298.2, summation of all this. Okay, so 20 plus 9 plus 14.5, 2.79, 252, this gives me 298.2. Okay, and volume of the hole, obviously 15 meters multiplied by 10 meters multiplied by 8 meters, that gives me this count. Okay, 1200 meter cube. Okay, now coming to the formula for this uh, re- reverberation time, the formula is 55.3 multiplied by, this is now 1200. Okay, this C is 344 and A is 298.2. Okay, so put these values here and you will be getting the absorption coefficient, sorry, reverberation time. Okay, so reverberation time as 0.6469. Okay, Sabine. Okay, so this is how you can calculate. Okay, so this is very easy. You need to only focus on how you are going to calculate the total absorption, because in that only we are getting various parameters. Okay, so with reference to that you need to find out what is the dimension given, what is the absorption coefficient given, and what is the count. Okay, so all factors you need to multiply and then add all such factors, okay, to compute total absorption, this A, which is nothing but, A is nothing but summation of alpha s, alpha I goes from 1 to n. Okay, so n constants are there, then you can go for this one. So finally you need to compute the volume and then put all these values to calculate the reverberation time. Okay, understood? So this is very very simple. Okay, you can use this method to calculate reverberation time given for a particular enclosed area, right? Okay, so this was the part left from the last lecture. Okay, so today we will be starting this one. So we are having the studio acoustics. Okay, so what do you mean by studio acoustics? Now the thing is that whatever the constraints that we are looking so far, okay, are with reference to the what we can say, the auditoriums and so on, because reverberation is mainly important when you need a special sound effect. If you are playing the musicals, if you want to have the only vocals or the speech kind of a thing, then you need to set your reverberation time as far as your application is concerned. If you want to play the musical instruments in the auditorium, then the reverberation time should be more. Hmm? And if you want to have the speech kind of thing, then your reverberation time should be very very less. Okay, so the studio acoustic is nothing but, means it is mainly emphasizing on principle, okay, and the process of behavior of sound in enclosed space. Okay, so on which factor we are mainly focusing on? The principle and the process of behavior of sound in a closed space. Am I right? Okay, so if we are considering the auditorium as versus the studios, okay, so in auditorium the reverberation should be more, okay, but in studios the reverberation must be very very less, okay, because in case of auditorium the reverberation is enhanced, okay, but in case of recording studio the reverberation is reduced to minimum value, so that the recording studio is actually silent. Okay, so in order to achieve this, what we need to do is the walls, floors, floor, ceiling, and other surfaces of a recording studio should be covered with a good quality of absorbing material. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to put a good quality of absorbing material, so that we can have the better recording. Okay, then the studio should be made soundproof. Okay, so next important point is, so we have to make the studio soundproof. Means what? For what purpose? So as to prevent the low frequency sound, okay, right, entering into the studio room. So that we have to take care of. The recording room should be structurally isolated from the main structure of the building with the help of double wall strategy. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are putting two walls, okay, and in between the walls we are having some insulating material, so that we cannot get uh, you know the external disturbance at the time of recording. So it should be structurally isolated with double wall strategy, okay, and within these two walls we are putting some material, so that the disturbance or whatever may be the things that are coming to the recording room will be absorbed, right? Okay, so the low frequency sound and vibration can pass through the solid structure more easily, okay, as compared to the high frequency sound. Okay, so in order to block them, okay, so we what we are incorporating here, there is another concept which is called as room within a room. Okay, so why room within a room is needed? The low frequency sound and vibration can pass through the solid structure more easily, okay, as compared to what? As compared to the high frequency sound. Okay, so in order to block them effectively, what we are doing is we are introducing the concept of room within a room. Okay, so that will minimize the structural linking of the studio recording room to the foundation of the building. Okay, so that mainly isolates the disturbance. Am I right? Okay, and finally we need some bass traps. Okay, bass traps are used to reduce the low frequency interference further. Okay, so what are the key requirements for that one? Okay, so for all the inside surfaces, okay, of the structure within we are implementing the recording. Okay, so all these are uh, coated with good absorbing material. That is the first point. Then, so as to uh, avoid the low frequency noise, okay, we are making the studio room soundproof. The room should be structurally isolated with using double walls. Okay, then room within room, again to avoid the what we can say disturbance coming, and we are using bass traps to avoid low frequencies, right? So here the soundproofing is done, okay, with two aspects: isolating recording room for any outside noise, and carry out acoustic damping. Okay, so with respect to these two aspects, we are doing, okay, the soundproofing. Okay, so basically you just remember, or you just take the screenshot of this one, okay, so that it could be more easy to elaborate for what points are needed for the studio acoustics. Okay, so we will move further for the public address system. Okay, so basically what do you mean by public address system? Okay, so many times we have encountered with PA systems, but we don't know this is called as PA system, like that. Okay, so the sound intensity will decrease as the distance from the source increases, that we all know, right? Therefore, when a large gathering of people is to be addressed, okay, the sound must be amplified so that people away from the stage can listen to the sound comfortably. Okay, and the system which satisfies this condition is called as public address system. Okay, so if you are addressing to some gathering, at that time you need some system to amplify your sound. Okay, so that system is basically called as public address system, right? So we generally use that system in auditoriums, in conference halls, okay, in some railway stations, stadiums, okay, wherever announcement is done, okay, and it is intended for a particular gathering, right? So this is called as public address system. So we will see what are the basic constituents of the public address system. So what we are basically doing is, for example, certain announcement is being done, so at that time certain music is being played, okay, so that is given to mic 1, the announcement is given to the mic 2, okay, then few more things if you want from other source, so for that purpose you can utilize mic 3 and mic 4, okay, so all these microphones are fed to the mixer, right? Okay, then we are using voltage amplifier, okay, then processing unit, then driver amplifier, power amplifier, and the speakers. Okay, so what is the role of the microphone? It basically converts the sound into equivalent electrical signal. Okay, so as far as the requirement is concerned, you should be able to select what kind of microphone, okay, that you want to use, right? Okay, then the mixer, okay, so the output of the mixer is fed to the output of the microphone is fed to the mixer, okay, so the mixer stage is used to isolate different channels from each other before they are going to fed to the amplifier. Am I right? Okay, so a separate preamplifier is used for each channel. Okay, so now coming to this mixer circuit, so what we are using, we are using separate amplifier for each input. Okay, the amplified signals are then applied to the gain control potentiometers. Okay, so here they have shown with this P1, P2, and this P3. Okay, At this point, we can adjust the amplitude of each signal separately for the best quality listening. Consider a scenario that a certain silent music is being played, and uh, one more announcement is going on. So at that time, you can minimize the amplitude of that silent music and increase the gain of the microphone through which the announcement is being done. Okay, so for that purpose we can use this, okay, adjustment, right? The resistor R which follow the gain control potentiometer are called as isolating resistors. Okay, so this one. Okay, the common amplifier shown, okay, following the isolating resistors is common emitter amplifier. Okay, it can match the impedances between the mixer and the voltage amplifier stages. Okay, so impedance matching is also one of the important issue when you are considering uh, the amplifiers and so on, as far as this PA systems and other things are concerned. Okay, so then coming to the voltage amplifier and processing circuit. Okay, so the voltage amplifier is used to provide again further amplification to the mixer output. Okay, the processing circuit block consists of master gain control and the tone control circuit. Okay, the tone control circuit consists of the bass and treble control circuit. So basically, uh, it is the master control. Okay, so you can increase the amplification of all the inputs simultaneously, or one by one you can increase the gain or the amplification of each of the input. Okay, again there are some provisions to control the bass and the treble. Okay, so what is bass and treble? Basically, the low frequency sounds are considered in the bass, and high frequency signals are considered in treble. Okay, so whenever you are dealing with the speech, okay, so you have to set properly the bass parameter and the treble parameter so that the voice quality should get more clear, right? So the bass control circuit will amplify, okay, the bass frequencies, that is low frequency signal, and treble control is used to boost the higher frequency signals. Okay, finally we are having the driver amplifier stage, okay, and the power amplifier stage. The driver amplifier drives the power amplifier to give to produce the more output power. Okay, so it is basically a voltage amplifier. The power amplifier gives the desired power amplification to the input signal. Okay, the push pull type of amplifier is generally used because this type eliminates the even harmonics from the output of the amplifier and avoids the core saturation of the output amplifier. Okay, the power amplifier drives the loudspeakers. Okay, matching transformers are used between them to match the low speaker impedance to the output impedance of the power amplifier. Okay, so why we are everywhere matching the impedances? Because when you came across such things, unless and until you match the impedance, you cannot get the good quality of output. Okay, so my question is, why impedance matching is done? What is the necessity? Because impedance matching is done, okay, for the maximum power transfer. Okay, so in first year or second year, you have came across the theorem which is called as maximum power transfer theorem. Okay, So can you just recall the statement of maximum power transfer theorem? Can you just try to recall the concept of this maximum power transfer theorem? The statement is the rough statement of maximum power transfer theorem is the maximum power is delivered from the source to load if the load impedance is equals to the source impedance. Am I right? So unless and until you match the impedances between source and load, you cannot get the maximum power. Okay, so when you match the impedances, then you can get the maximum power. So everywhere we need to take care of impedance matching thing as far as maximum output is concerned. Okay, so finally here we are having the loudspeakers, okay, that converts the amplified audio signal from the power amplifier into a sound signal. Okay, understood? So this is a very basic block diagram of the public address system. Okay, then there are certain list of the requirements of the PA system. Okay, so we will finish this one. This is the last part of today's lecture, and we will see rest of the things in the next lecture. Okay, so we will finish this requirements of PA system. Okay, so what are the basic requirements, okay, that one should consider while accessing the public address system? Okay, so first of all, you need to understand for what purpose you are utilizing the system for. Okay, so the application is important, right? So there are some of the constraints. So let us go with one by one. So first one is avoid acoustic feedback. Okay, so what do you mean by that? The sound from the loudspeaker should not reach to the microphone. So here we are talking about the feedback. Okay, from certain point it is again coming to the input. From output again it is coming to the input. Okay, so the sound from the loudspeaker should not reach the microphone. Okay, so this is called avoiding the acoustic feedback. This is necessary to avoid loud howling, okay, sound resulting due to such feedback. Okay, so what will happen? The sound should not be proper when whatever you are talking in the microphone, again it is coming back to the speaker. Okay, so that is a mess. Okay, so we need to avoid such things. Okay, clear? So the first thing is avoid acoustic feedback. Okay, then the second point is distribute sound intensity. Okay, the low frequency audio signals are responsible for the loudness of the sound, and high frequency audio signals are responsible for the this one. Okay, so we need to balance that properly when you are dealing with the low frequency and high frequency sound. Okay, the high frequency signals are attenuated more as they are means they are traveling a longer distance as compared to the low frequency signals. Okay, so that means as we move away from the loudspeaker, okay, so that at that time we have to consider the concept of the loudness. Okay, so instead of using one or two huge speakers near the stage, it is always better to use small loudspeakers spread over entire auditorium. Means here what we are intended to use is for a particular mob. Okay, don't use a big speakers at the stages. Okay, okay, so you can use small loudspeaker spread over the, what we can say, the area within which the mob has been accommodated. So if you try to emphasize this one, okay, so if you consider Gadima, okay, in Gadima all the speakers are distributed, okay, throughout the auditorium, okay, instead of having a big speaker near the stage, okay. So that is for distribution of sound intensity evenly throughout the enclosed auditorium or enclosed studio, okay, auditorium basically, right? So that is the second thing. The third one is reduce the reverberation, okay. So here you are mainly dealing with the speech or vocals only, okay. So here you are not willing to have artistic sound effects, am I right? So the requirement of reverberation time should be very very less, okay, for the PA system, okay. So you have to be cautious about reducing the reverberations, am I right? Okay. Then the fourth important parameter is proper speaker orientations, okay. So for ensuring the best possible use of available power, okay, the loudspeaker should be properly oriented, because if at a certain height, okay, the speakers are mounted, and if you have not set the direction of the speaker properly, then the listeners could not be able to perceive the sound clearly. So for that purpose, the orientation of the speaker as well as the microphones also, because when you are playing a play, okay, at that time you require lots of microphones. So at that time, okay, if the orientation is not proper, then the sound quality is not that much clear, or some other frequencies or other signals may get added to that particular thing. So orientation of speakers and orientations of microphones should be important, okay. So also they can incorporate some echoes as well, right? So as to avoid that, the orientation should be proper, okay. Then the fifth parameter is to reduce ambient noise, okay. The ambient noise is high in the application such as sports centers, playground, marketplaces, and so on, okay. So the PA system should boost the higher frequencies to ensure the clarity of sound, but this will boost the noise present in the high frequency spectrum as well, am I right? Okay, along with the signal. So the noise will hamper the clarity of sound, obviously, okay. So in high ambient noise environment, the amplifier gain is generally high, right? So this will make the low frequency notes to be heard very loudly, okay. So in order to avoid this, low frequency signals should be attenuated. So proper attenuations and proper precautions, okay, in presence of such scenario should be taken care of, right? Then limit the dynamic range, okay. The amplifier of the PA system has a limiter circuit which keeps the output level constant even when the input level is higher than a certain predetermined value, okay. So this is essential for overcoming certain drawbacks of the speaker, such as shouting or talking with the mouth too close to the microphone, okay. Understood? Okay. Next, the next parameter is proper microphone selection, okay. Now in the next part we will be looking at various types of speakers and microphones, okay. Based on application, we are having various types of microphones. Okay, so in PA system, proper selection of microphone is very very important, because you need to emphasize on the directivity pattern of that particular microphone, so that it can be used for a specific purpose. Okay, so so as to avoid the echoes, so as to avoid the reverberation, so as to avoid the, you know, less amplification and so on, proper selection of microphone is important, right? Next, create the sense of direction. Okay, so what do you mean by that? The placement of the speaker should be such that the sound should appear to be coming from the direction of source. Okay, so that kind of arrangement we need to do. Small and large loudspeaker should be used in proper combination to create the sense of direction and increase the loudness of the sound to an adequate level. Okay, so we need to keep the speakers properly, the orientation properly, so that you could have a sense of sound which is coming from, you know, the source person, or the or the from the source, right? Because consider a scenario where the speaker is kept back and you are listening to that particular thing, so you cannot have the sense that the sound is coming from the, source, from the source, if the loudspeaker is kept back. Are you getting what I'm trying to narrate, right? So that sense of direction is important. Okay, the next parameter is phase delay. Okay, if the sound from two speakers is being heard simultaneously, then the path traveled by the sound from the nearest speaker will be shorter than the speaker far away. Okay, so this delayed sound will hamper the quality, right? So you need to take care of that particular thing, because due to the distance and so on, it creates the effect on the sound clarity basically. Okay, so you need to take care that the distance between any two speakers should not be greater than 16 meters. Okay, so these two speakers are kept, the distance between two speakers are kept nearly about 10 meters. Okay, then the next parameter is impedance matching. Okay, so as we have seen earlier, why impedance matching is important, because so as to deliver the maximum power. Okay, so it is necessary to match the total loudspeaker impedance with the output impedance of the power amplifier. For what? For that, so as to ensure the maximum power transfer to the speaker. Okay, so various types of speakers that you are using, so based upon what we can say, the requirement, you need to focus on what type of the speakers are used for that particular addressing. Okay, the next point is ensure proper grounding. Okay, so proper grounding is obviously important. Okay, because loudspeaker, for the loudspeaker cabinets and the shields of coaxial cables. Okay, so everything you need to ensure whether they are properly grounded or not, or if not, then it will create again a problem. Okay, next one is selection of amplifier with adequate output power. Okay, so this is very important, because the amplifier power should be uniformly distributed by using distributed multiple speaker arrangement. Okay, so for that purpose, the selection of speakers and selection of microphone, both the things are very very important. Okay, so for what purpose? Okay, what should be the, output power of speaker is important, that you have to consider. Okay, so the output power of the PA system depends on the type of application it is used for. The total output power of the amplifier should be 80 dB above the hearing threshold. Okay, so this will ensure the comfortable hearing experience even at the farthest places. Okay, so in our syllabus we are not having that much details, okay, for the calculation of, uh, the requirement of the output, what we can say, speaker power. The next one is use of closed ring connections of the speakers. Okay, so here in this way you have to arrange the loudspeakers. Okay, so this connection will ensure that even though the connection is broken at some point, still it will not be inoperative. Okay, why this ring, closed ring connection is important? Because at a certain point it breaks. For example, here it is break. Okay, but still it is in operational mode, right? So it ensures that even though the connection is broken at some point, still it will not become inoperative. Okay, so this will improve the reliability of the installation, right? So why this is important, that we have seen. Okay, and last 2 3 points remaining. The AC hum, what do you mean by that? The noise due to AC mains. Okay, so everywhere whenever you are dealing with any instrument, okay, which is operating on AC mains, for that purpose you must always consider that you must have the filters, the notch filters, at that particular power frequency, means at 50 hertz or 60 hertz. Okay, so AC hum is the noise produced by the AC mains at supply frequency, that is 50 hertz. The connecting wires of microphones will have the AC hum induced in them due to magnetic field associated with the mains. Okay, so this 50 hertz audible humming sound, which is quite irritating, so we need to take care of these AC hums. Okay, so in order to reduce AC hum, the lead wire for the microphone should be kept as small as possible. If it is not possible to shorten the length of the microphone wires, then at least they should not run parallel to the AC wires. Understood? Proper shielding and isolations should be taken care of. Okay, and the next one is microphone placement. Okay, so this is very very important. In an auditorium, microphone should be placed in such a way that all desired sources of sound should be covered properly without picking up any undesired sound. Okay, if two microphones are picking up sound originated from a source, and if the spacing between them is lambda by 2 meters for that source, then the output of the two mics will cancel each other, right? In the amplifier, at least one frequency for which spacing is exactly equals to lambda by 2. Therefore, in the multiple microphone setup, the microphone should be placed in a proper location. Okay, and the last point is to reduce RF pickup. Okay, so the amplifier will pick up and detect the local radio broadcast station and RF transmission due to some reasons. Okay, so due to this, local radio station will be heard along with the desired program. Okay, so How to avoid that? By using RF bypass capacitor at the input terminals of the amplifier, so that it can bypass the RF frequencies which are coming to that particular system, and the system will work smoothly. Okay, so these are some of the points regarding with the requirements of the PA system. Okay, so for today I guess we will stop, and in the next lecture we will be looking at some of the parameters of this PA system. Okay, then what else is remaining? Yeah, the cordless microphone system is there, then types of speakers and microphones. Okay, and what else is remaining? There are so many types. What else is okay, huh? The satellite radio reception, that point is very very important, so we will cover that within this week, and in the next week we will again revise the second and third unit, so that uh, proper revision will be should be there for your examination. Still the pattern yet not officially declared by the university, but still we will revise the second and third unit again. Okay, so this is for today only. Okay, and again we will meet in the next lecture in the day after tomorrow. Okay? So we will stop here. Thank you.